Have you ever noticed how the boldest confidence move isn't louder words? It's the quiet moment you accept what is and walk away without a paragraph of explanation. Not because you don't care, but because you finally trust yourself more than you fear being misunderstood. And here's what I've learned about confidence: it isn't performing, defending, or convincing. It's setting your ego aside and choosing alignment, even when people might not get it at first. Confidence says, "This is my truth," and lets the rest take whatever shape it needs to. I used to think that acceptance meant giving up. Now I see it as radical clarity. Acceptance is simply data. It's the moment you stop arguing with reality long enough to make a clean decision. This isn't failure, it's feedback. And when you treat it that way, everything gets lighter and simpler. Let's talk about the ego for a second. The ego loves image management. It tells stories like, if I don't explain, they'll think I'm ungrateful, or if I set a boundary, I'll be the difficult one. Does this sound familiar? It's something I used to struggle with too. Integrity, however, doesn't care about image management. Integrity cares about alignment. The question that changes everything is, am I protecting my image or honoring my values? This is something we're faced with often in life. And recently I had to choose. I walked away from something I'd poured years into, and there was a lot at stake: time, relationships, reputation. The old me would have written a 3-page essay to make sure that everybody felt comfortable with my choice. And although I did write that novel, I didn't feel the need to send it, and instead I erased it. The new me chose acceptance. I said, "This no longer aligns for me," and let that be enough. Was I nervous about what people would think? Of course. But acceptance had already done its job. Confidence just held the line. And the piece that followed was my proof. Let's normalize what happens in your body during moments like these. When there's risk of judgment in the air, your nervous system flips into protection mode. The part of your brain that handles clear decision making goes a little offline, and the part that scans the threat gets very loud. That's why decisions feel foggy when you're dysregulated. Confidence isn't a personality trait, it's a trained state. The more you practice aligned decisions, the more evidence you collect that you can trust yourself. That evidence becomes calm. That calm becomes clarity. So how do we practice acceptance in a way that builds confidence? We start in the body, then move to behavior. We first have to regulate. My favorite way to regulate is through prayer. But if that doesn't resonate with you, place one hand on your chest, one on your belly, inhale for 4, hold for 2, and exhale for 6. Do this 5 times. You're gonna feel your shoulders drop and your mind soften. You're telling your body, we're safe enough to choose. Once your body is with you, name the ego story out loud or on paper. I'm afraid they'll think, and then fill in the blank. Then you have to ask yourself, what choice honors my values, not my image? So let's identify what values may look like. Those might sound something like presence with my family, integrity with my time, health, creative freedom, mutual respect. When your values lead, the decision isn't necessarily easy, but it becomes obvious. And then from there, you have to have a close. And what do I mean by that? Well, sometimes that looks like a clear, kind conversation. "This is no longer aligning for me. I'm choosing blank, and I wish you well." If someone pushes you, you can say, "I understand you want more detail. I'm not available to rehash this, and I trust that you're going to respect my decision." That's not cold, that's clarity without performance. Other times, closure doesn't require more words. You can simply write a short release note in your phone or write it on the computer, and instead of sending it, you can delete it. Get all of your feelings out and then let it go. Then change one small behavior today that reflects that choice. Silent closure does count. Your nervous system doesn't need an audience to heal. And if you're worried about being the bad guy, try this reframe. People can dislike your decision and still benefit from your honesty. It's true. Short-term discomfort equals long-term respect. And when you stop bargaining for approval, you start modeling what real self-trust looks like. This is leadership. This is confidence. So here's some food for thought. No pressure, just reflection. Is there someone you need to make right with, verbally or silently? Or maybe there's a situation you need to accept by setting your ego aside? If the answer is yes, bring it into the body first, then into language. Take 5 deep breaths. Say one truth and make one clear action. Let's make it practical for you today. Before any hard conversation or boundary, do 5 rounds of that 4 breath. Write your ego story and your value statement. Then choose your close, verbal and kind, or silent and decisive. And if you need words, you can borrow mine. This no longer aligns for me. I'm choosing fill in your blank, and I wish you well. And if you need silence, borrow the ritual. Write it, read it, delete it, and act. One more thing. Confidence grows in micro reps. Every time you act in alignment, whether anyone claps or not, you train your system to trust you. That's why acceptance and confidence are so connected. Acceptance ends the performance. Confidence carries the decision. If you're listening to this and thinking, I want that calm, but I don't know where to start, you don't have to do it alone. This is exactly what coaching helps with: anchoring the body, clarifying values, and practicing clean closure until it feels natural. If I could walk away from something with years of history and a lot at stake, you can do the same. Whatever is right in front of you is yours to grab. All you have to do is act. So let's land this. Confidence isn't just about tough decisions. It touches everything: how you show up at work, how you parent, how you care for your body, and absolutely how you love. In relationships, confidence looks like clear asks, clean boundaries, sincere apologies, and the ability to give and receive without keeping score. That kind of steadiness makes connection feel safe. And when we feel safe, desire and intimacy have room to grow. Physiologically, this matters. When you act in alignment, you're telling your brain we're safe. Perceived threats drop, your nervous system shifts out of chronic fight or flight, and your cortisol can finally come down. Simple practices like longer exhales, naming the fear, choosing the value-aligned action, train your body toward regulation. A regulated body is a clearer mind, and a clearer mind equals better choices. Better choices equal stronger relationships. Again, confidence is a practice, not a personality. And every aligned rep is evidence that you can trust yourself. And remember, this isn't failure, it's feedback. Use it, adjust, and keep moving towards what's true. Quiet confidence is a muscle. You have to train it daily. And acceptance is your first step. If this is something you're struggling with, send me a DM and let's connect. I'd love to hear what you have going on so that I can cheer you on.